The specifics of generalities, or rather, more thoughts on being a specialist versus generalist. So I recently had some ear issues, and it came to be I had an ear infection and my ears don't equalize, so I'm wary of flying because bad things could happen. And I was talking to my friend's brother, who is an ENT doctor, and it's very interesting when I talk to him versus talking to my friend who does emergency medicine, knows generally a lot about a lot. I know a little about a lot. And it's funny because, people say things that are generally true, but in your case may not actually be correct or beneficial. So I was using a sinus rinse because I thought maybe that would clear my ears. And that's actually not recommended. I actually looked it up to see if it could be bad. And he recommended against it, which I had just read recently. This is after the fact. I used it last week. And it could actually damage your eustachian tubes, which I need to equalize my ears and to relieve the pressure. So that's bad. And then my primary doctor said to use some, antihistamines. It can't hurt, right? I mean, it's not allergic, but, maybe they reduce some inflammation. He said, yeah, but if you have sinus issues, that'd be a bad thing. Don't do that. My friend's saying give some steroids, right? Why not? Maybe you have some fluid in your ears. Maybe it'll help. He says, but you're treating infection, so he wouldn't do that either. And I was like, well, what about humidification? Because people, again, say humidity is always good for your nose. He's like, well, he didn't respond right away. He thought, he's like, well, if it's already 45% in your house, which it is because I have a monitor, he says, there's no point. He knows the details. He knows the facts. He knows what to do in specific cases. A lot of things are generally true, but may not be true in your case. One specific incident doesn't mean they're not generally true. I think if you expand this to the idea of generalization, right? I was talking to friends recently about how we teach children. So in school, many times they teach you something that's actually wrong. But you're in elementary school or middle school, you can't learn, even high school. You just don't know enough to understand how electrons really work. This whole idea of quantum mechanics. So we just say things like they're a little ball that rotates like a star, right? Or like the moon of the earth, right? But that's not really the way it works. But we say that. And I remember in high school, Mrs. Overman actually responded to my friend's question when he asked, Ms. Overman, are you lying to us? And she said, actually, you're right. It's incorrect. She knows the truth, but she's telling us something different. And it's because you don't understand enough. That's what you say. But it's a bit complicated, right? Because you see, literacy is one of those things that you want to simplify and make it so people find it easier to read, right? So you get more people reading. That's why for the Bible, they have the New International Version. You only have to have a vocabulary like 500 words, and then you can read it, which works for most people. I mean, China did traditional Chinese and took it and made it simplified. Many characters that were different before are now the same. A lot of times when you have complicated things in the middle, they just write an X. Well, that simplifies it. They wanted more people to be literate, but you look at Japan, where they don't only have Chinese characters kanji, but two other phonetic systems. And literacy is very high there, so you can accomplish it, right? You don't have to simplify. That's just one way. And I wonder, is that always a good thing, right? See, as a general doctor, I help people, generally. But sometimes I say things that may be wrong. Like, I used to tell patients that, yeah, you have some diverticulitis. Yeah, you'll get better in a few weeks. And no, you should see a doctor. I was listening to some GI lectures. They're like, yeah, you don't get better. We get all these referrals because their doctors told them they'll be better. They're not going to be back to normal. They could be a year and not back to normal. I didn't know that. But it's impossible for me to know all the details about every single field. Is the world done with generalists and generalism? Should we be dealing with more specifics now? I mean, the medical field is just one aspect, but it's life. There's so many things we have to know nowadays. I remember listening to Bo Jackson, who played football and baseball, who said that, he could do lots of different things in football. He said he can't do it today. Why not? Because people are just better. Back in the day, it's easier. That's why the whole idea of a Renaissance man is someone who could do it all. People are just so much more specialized. There's just so much more knowledge accumulated that you have to know to become an expert in the field. So where does that leave us? Is it okay to say things that are not completely true to people because it's just a simplification and they can't understand? Because we don't know that they can't understand. We never tried it. We just assume. Is it okay to be wrong every now and then because I'm a generalist? I'm helping people, I'm trying. But if it hurts them, I feel bad. I don't think I should have. Should I have just said I don't know? Like specialists do to other things that are outside of their field. When we're raising kids, should we teach them that it's still admirable to learn about everything, to improve on your weaknesses? Or we just say, work on your strengths, forget about other things, they don't matter. You'll just hire someone to do that for you in the future. Where do we go today?